Good afternoon, everybody. Kimberly Lebbing here. And today it was on my heart to share this with you. I wanted to talk to you about can personal relationships or the things that we have going on in our personal life really affect the success of our business? So, if you're new to this group, welcome. My name is Kimberly Lebbing, and I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are stuck or struggling. I've got a very unique process that fixes the problem in 4 hours or less. So, today I want to specifically talk about personal relationships or whenever we have things that are going on in our personal relationships and how that affects our businesses. And I felt inspired to talk about this because honestly, I've got a couple of clients that have struggled with this very thing. And it's really interesting how easily we sometimes forget how one affects the other. We think we can compartmentalize our lives like, okay, here is my business and I'm going to do my thing and do this over here. Here's my marriage. It's right here. Well, here's my, maybe my church life. Everything, we see everything as separate. What we don't realize is how we relate to people in all of these areas will affect the others. And I'll give you some specific examples of how this may happen and show up for you. Because one of the things that I see with my clients is even though we work on one area, so maybe somebody specifically comes to me for relationships, that person ends up seeing an improvement in their business. And also the person that comes to me about their business ends up seeing it's like a nice side effect because when you work on one area, it ends up showing up in the others because it's all connected. So let's talk about trust, for instance. And I know I've shared this story before, but I have a business owner that came to me that wanted to scale. And as we were trying to figure out what the core issue was, what the core problem that she was dealing with. If you've heard me even a few times, I've got like three steps. Identify the problem, figure out where it first occurred, and then we fix it. Like that's the simple form of the 4 hour. But in her process, we figured out that trust was an issue for her. So if you can imagine, if you have trouble trusting and this was something that happened to her personally, it wasn't a business deal that went wrong. I mean, that can happen too, but it wasn't anything like that. It was something that happened to her personally, which caused her to not feel like she could trust people. And when you don't trust people, it's hard to scale. Here's another example. Recently, I worked with someone who had some problems with some self-confidence, and the confidence had to do with relationship. And whenever you're dealing with relationship problems, and this person was just not feeling confident in their ability to have relationships because, some other things that were going on in their life and some relationships that went bad, for lack of other way of saying it. And it affected his confidence in other areas. Well, guess what? We worked together and now this person is seeing more business. And he's seeing more business because he's coming off more confident in his ability to relate to people and just do the things that he's really good at. He doesn't sound scattered anymore. He doesn't sound, does that make sense? So when you work on one area, whatever it is, there's no right or wrong in this. Whatever that is for you that you need, I would say if you are struggling or if you are stuck, pick the area that you feel would give you the most impact. because it will flow into all the other areas. So confidence can show up in the way of how maybe you're dealing with your health now. So this same person happens to be working out and doing things that he wasn't doing before. So there's another piece. He's getting more business, and all because we worked on an area of personal relationships. So another piece and something to think about is, this was another conversation earlier today with someone that I had about confrontations and how, so thinking about the way you grew up is another thing. So relationships present. So sometimes people are dealing with stuff that they're currently going through. They're currently going through, or maybe recently went through a divorce or something, or maybe they're currently in a situation, and that's probably more obvious on how that would affect you. The less obvious piece would be if it's something from your past. So, and I know like this particular example I was talking with earlier, and it was true for them, but it was also true for me. I know that when I was growing up, confrontations were like not done. So my dad was super confrontational to the point where you wanted to go hide, right? My mom was exact opposite, and she would do, and it was understandable, but she would do whatever she had to do to avoid conflict. And honestly, she still struggles with that to this day. So sometimes whatever it was that we observed, because this is how I dealt with things too, because that's what I was taught. There's no right or wrong. It's just what it is. So recognizing where we're picking up these patterns from, where they first occurred, and why we do the things that we do. So if you're always avoiding situations, it could be that something that you learned during those imprint years when you were growing up, because that was the case for me, and how I dealt with confrontation. It's totally different for me now. Now I understand that was really an unwarranted kind of reaction that I was doing. I was reacting as if, well, not only did I grow up with that, but I was reacting as if something terrible was going to happen if I confronted someone with someone, like there was going to be some fight or there was going to be something. And so paying attention to when we do behaviors that we do, and really digging into, okay, why do I hate confrontation so much? Or why do I not feel confident about being in a relationship with this person? Or so really looking at yourself and digging a little deeper and asking those really deeper questions is key. So I just wanted to point those things out, because so many times I see people think, oh, my personal relationships, there's no way that I could be getting more business now than because I worked on this relationship thing. And couldn't be further from the truth. You are probably getting more business now because you can now have deeper, fuller relationships that you weren't able to have before, and vice versa. So like I said, the person that I worked with that wanted to scale, and the issue was trust. I mean, yes, her business is doing amazing, but she's also got this whole side effect thing that wasn't why she came to me, but her relationships are better. Her relationships are better because she worked on her business. Because really the core issue, it was getting to the core issue. So getting to that core issue of trust for her was huge, 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 huge. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope that you are able to dig in a little deeper to figure out, why you may or may not be moving forward in your business or your relationships. And if you're not and you want some help, reach out to me. That's what I do. So thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.